Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to get underway. If everyone can find their seats and remember to enjoy the show. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coming of Age.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to episode 2012. You are joined today by some beautiful people, three people, to a movie podcast. We have Chase Cummins, we have Dan Joplin.
Hello, I'm Chase.
Who are you?
My name is Alan Leisbro. Okay.
Lies,
Alan.
Las Vegas.
Bro.
Thank you.
Can we get some woo? Can we woo? Yeah.
Welcome to the fourth episode of the Nicolas Cage series.
Fucking finally.
We're all happy about it, and it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. So much fun.
Yeah, I don't think I ever said it really wasn't, but I was incepted to think that I said it wasn't because Chase has been telling me that I said it was a bad movie. But I don't think I actually said that. I think I just said it could use a tightening. Just to just cinch it up.
I think when we first asked you if you'd seen it way back when it came
It?
out. The
movie It?
Seen this movie. Seen
What
Mandy.
movie?
Seen Mandy.
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 Okay.
The movie that we're talking about today. We're talking about Mandy today.
Mandy. I think your reaction the first time we asked you was, "Hey, Dan, did you like Mandy?" And you went, and I was like, oh no.
I was like, whoa.
No, because I think that's actually the noise I made while I was watching it because I was just asleep, so it was just like rolling over. I was like,
Yeah, I think when you talk about the movie that way, we're like, I don't know. That's what we're talking about. But I mean, compared to Port of Call and Leaving Las Vegas and even Vampire's Kiss, how does it stack up?
I liked the movie. I'm saying I liked the movie. I like it was a good movie.
This guy
movie was
hates
good.
this
Okay.
movie.
If this movie was on an airplane, I would watch it and eat the peanuts with a little bag of peanut. What's with a peanut? It was good. I enjoyed it. It was badass. Like I just said, it was just woof. The sequences, all of them, just nothing should have been taken out of this movie. It just you could have just kind of put it. You could play it on like 1.5 speed and probably be good.
That's Panos.
Panos, baby.
Did you ever watch Beyond the Black Rainbow?
No.
That was his only other movie so
Yep.
far.
Yeah.
It is like the first hour of this movie, but it's 2 hours. You know, it's just, I think it's an hour and a half, but the whole movie is just like that. That first part.
It is art for sure.
It's cool.
It's awesome.
It's cool. It doesn't really have as much of a plot. Like there's a plot, but it's really loosey-goosey, and
It's still psychedelic.
There's not a
Panos,
super plot to this movie. It's not even like
very
that
thin-
hard of a.
Yeah.
Like I had mentioned to you before, Chase. Some of this feels like it could be a bit of a video game plot. Like it's
Yeah. Well, once you see, like, I honestly thought it was like going to be like some fucking artistic looking dude, like, you know, super well put together. Not that he's not. He's just a like kind of heavier set nerd guy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, well, fuck. Hell yeah. Okay, this makes so much sense. This guy's fucking awesome. Holy shit. Sidestep, can I please say that because of this movie, I keep on finding out things about Nicolas Cage that I never knew before. And I didn't know that Nicolas Cage, like avid comic book reader, took his fucking stage name from Luke Cage.
Yeah, the comic. I didn't know
I
that either.
never knew that.
Didn't know
I
that,
read
yeah.
that, like, just looking around on the internet, IMDb.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Well, all right. He's even like he's just keeps on surprising me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that's how we got here.
I read that he also has played now 3 or 4 Marvel characters.
Yeah, I didn't
And I was
know.
like-
I didn't know who they were.
I know Ghost Rider's one.
and I don't know what else.
Also
Who's-
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is one, so that's 2.
Oh, wow.
But there were
okay.
more than that, and I'm like, I don't know what those are.
Yeah, what did he do?
I've been looking at his IMDb list this entire month, and I can't think of a single other Marvel thing on there.
Well,
that he
we'll
was
get,
almost
we'll get back
Superman.
to you on part 2 when we do this. Who fucking knows when? It was honestly, I learned a lot about myself
Me too.
and about the world of Nicolas Cage, and almost nothing at all because I still don't fucking know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm capable of becoming obsessed and insane. Because that's what happened to me.
When we really get into the ridiculous movies, okay,
That's-
you're showing me a picture of Nicolas Cage right now, Dan, and
But he's photoshopped onto the guy from Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
is that a Marvel movie?
Marvel
Breakfast
presents The Breakfast Club.
That's something Netflix would do. Netflix is like The Breakfast Club, the
Meets
show.
the Punisher.
That would
These
be
kids,
great.
they thought these kids were bad.
I've been saying it
But
for
they
years.
haven't seen
I
bad.
want to see the just crossover universe explode,
Yeah.
where it's just like
Things that
that's something
shouldn't be
like
crossed over.
Yeah.
Things that have nothing to
and
do
not
with
even
each other.
comic books, just other movies. Like let's mix up all the Steven Spielberg movies. So there's dinosaurs during the Holocaust.
Hey, those were made the same year.
But that's kind of too much like that fucking Nazi dinosaur movie on the moon or whatever.
Yeah, so it's already been done.
Yeah, it's already been done.
Is Hitler, dude.
They threw in 2001 on that one as well.
Think about little ET with a Hitler mustache.
Oh God.
Inglorious Bastards and E.T.
That's not a bad image. Now that's a good image. Maybe if he was more E.T. is Chaplin.
The Great Dictator, starring
Oh.
E.T.
He's doing the little waddle.
He's doing the speech, the most impressive speech. Most epic speech on YouTube, Charlie Chaplin. Epic
waddle.
fail. It shows Charlie Chaplin's like normal comedy, him falling down the ladder and shit.
The little waddle of Chaplin and E.T. though, Dan, that's so funny.
Yeah,
so
the
perfect.
cane back and forth. Holy fuck, that would be amazing. This movie, Mandy, also has Richard Brake, which I must say, on the second viewing, I was like, oh yeah, Richard Brake's in this movie, and I think I only know
Is
him
he the guy
from
who
one
gets
other.
it through the mouth?
He's
Is
the
that the guy who
chemist.
gets it through the mouth?
He's the
no,
chemist
the
with
chemist.
Lizzie the tiger, who was supposed to be a
Yes.
lizard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which would have made this a little bit
And
too
hol-
much like
hilarious.
Which,
Warriors,
okay,
All New
whoa.
Orleans.
The chemist soaking his hands in fucking acid.
Oh, yeah, I
Yes.
think he was just like essentially just acid himself at that point. Like
Yeah.
he's just-
Dude, he was wild. Dude, he was fucking cool though, for
When-
sure.
yeah,
He's
but-
got a great image. I really like that actor. I've only seen him in that Rob Zombie movie where it's like a game. It's called like 41 or something. What is it called? Something like that.
I haven't seen that one.
I think it's something like that. I can't remember. But it's like a game where like people are released and there's like a set of killers that are coming after you
So
and you have to get through them.
31.
31, yes.
I remember him
And
from
he's like a fucking villain who is so fucking scary. And the very beginning of that movie is in black and white, and it's just him talking to the camera for the first 5 minutes, and he's just covered in blood. And it's fantastic. If you don't want to watch a whole Rob Zombie movie, just watch the first 5 minutes and then say, okay, cool, I'm out.
Yeah, see
It's
ya.
really good. It's just a good scene.
I'll check it out. I've not seen that movie. I saw him in The Sisters Brothers most recently.
Plays
Which
a
is
normal kind of character, you know, not murdering people or
I think
making acid.
he might be murdering people. There's a lot of
Okay.
murdering in that movie.
Well, good.
In what?
The Sisters Brothers.
I've heard of it, but I don't know
The
anything
Sisters
about it, so
Brothers?
I don't know
Yeah.
how much murder is involved.
It's like a west.
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
like
familiar.
it's kind of like an anti-western. It's not real. It doesn't really play like a western, but it's Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly are the Sisters brothers, and then Jake Gyllenhaal and Riz Ahmed are like other characters that are in it. And
Other
they're like bounty
characters?
hunters, and they're like, brothers that hate each other, and it's pretty fucking good. It's a weird movie. It's not what you'd expect, but
Right
it's
on.
not bad.
Well, we'll all check it out. All right. Well, let's talk about Mandy before we get too deep. Let's do a general synopsis.
So, Mandy and Red live in the Pacific Northwest, up in the mountains. Red's a lumberjack. Nick Cage. Mandy, what's the actress's name? This is more than a
I don't
sentence
know.
already.
I don't know. You're already doing so much more than that. Stop.
Andrea Riseborough. To the answer to
try
your
You
again.
question.
run on, son of a
Let me try
bitch.
again. Let me try one more time. One more time.
All right.
It's a new mindset. Okay, hold on. Mandy and Red live an idyllic lover's life, secluded in the Pacific Northwest mountains in the mid-'80s.
Until one day, an evil cult leader known as Jeremiah Sand decided he wanted Mandy.
He passes Mandy on the road, and her face ignites a fire in him.
After abducting Mandy, Jeremiah's advances are rebuked, and he is left wanting.
So, like any man with a small penis, he decided he has to burn her in front of her lover, Red.
Lava.
God. So they burn her in front of Red, like Chase just said, and it hurts. He comes out and he sees her ashes.
Ooh.
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Red.
You know what's funny?
Red
You know what's funny?
manages-
Side note. You're My Boy Blue is the only other reference, and his name's Red. To Dust in the Wind.
All right,
You're my boy, Blue.
All right, Red manages to escape and make his way home, where he begins his plans for retribution.
First, he must find the people who wronged him.
Then he must forge an axe.
And my sword and my bow.
This was my sword. This was my bow.
Once he has gathered the sacred weapons, he's able to launch his assault.
He goes for the demon motherfuckers who were summoned earlier that we didn't mention.
With the aid of Gimli and Legolas, he makes his way into Mount Doom and slays the first of the orcs, but flips over his chariot in the process.
Thus finding himself imprisoned in the disgusting bathroom of the demon's home.
by a vicious snowflake.
And what's the Star Wars pit?
Oh my god, the never-ending pit. Yes.
You ripped my shirt! You ripped my shirt! Is that what he's saying? Is he saying you ripped my shirt?
That's his favorite
Yeah.
shirt. It's his favorite
That
shirt.
was my favorite
You ripped my shirt!
And then it's you know what's going on. It's a story of revenge, and we'll talk about the end later.
You got the
I like
idea
how-
so far.
Okay, I like how you were the most gung-ho about this and like the first to fucking
But that's a
puss
synopsis.
out on
You
it.
don't tell the end of the story in a synopsis.
No, but also like when she... You were like, yeah, and then she got burned, like Chase said.
It's funny though.
Yeah.
No, I had a blast.
Come on, people.
Come gather round wherever you roam.
So I don't know about you guys, but I have a few questions about this movie.
Do know.
Yes. Okay.
Fine, son of a
Yes.
bitch.
We talked before the show. I know you guys have questions.
I got some questions. Need
I got
answers.
some questions.
Like, why would you taste that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we will get to that.
I like
oh
that.
my
I
God.
like that question.
That's going to be a fun one
Just
to
in
figure out.
general.
Why would you taste that? Oh my god.
So let's try and figure out what we couldn't understand or was really fucking weird about this movie.
Yeah, hopefully, to our listeners, we're not going to go through the entire movie. Hopefully, you've watched it. It's not really a movie that I can really explain to you in how it makes you feel because it's so incredible. And the soundtrack's great, and it makes you feel a certain way. And you shouldn't be listening to this unless you've seen it.
It's
but you know, if
super
you're
trippy,
if you're
some
fine
nice-
with it and you just want to listen to this, that's
Some
totally
nice
cool.
heavy metal themed like animated bits and shit. It's really dope. It's fun. It's trippy.
It's like heavy metal
It's-
as a live action movie.
With a little bit of the heavy metal in it, like the cartoon in it. Yeah. It's an experience. It's an experience to watch this. It can't be described effectively. So if you haven't seen it, go fucking see it.
Go see that shit.
Okay, so a bit of a before we get into questions, a bit of a surface level question for you guys. Did you get like little Manson-y vibes from him, like with the
Oh, yeah.
with the wanting to
100%.
like with
For
the,
sure.
the folk music and everything? He's like, oh, this is like the Carpenters, but even better.
Oh
like,
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure that was an influence.
I think I read in the trivia on IMDb that it was like partly based on Charles Manson. Yeah, like they share a lot of the parallels, but like I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. I
Dude,
think maybe
yeah,
somebody
it's-
could have just written in and been like, it seems like he's kind of based on Manson because he totally looked like seems like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very a close association. I don't think it was any. I'm sure the director realized.
Yeah,
It's great. It's
he's
great.
not an
Everyone
idiot.
wants to see that. There's 2 Manson things coming out soon.
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino can do it. Come on.
I'm excited for that movie.
But I like the spin on it, honestly, especially with like demon cults.
Yeah.
and like
Well-
just like riders and shit, black skulls. It's crazy. It's kind of Nazi as fuck too.
Yeah, it's
Not as fuck, but a little tinge.
tingy.
Tingy.
It's definitely yeah.
Well, just that it gets into that occulty stuff, and that's I feel like is a big question. There is
Yeah.
like, is there a supernatural element, or is it just drug fueled mania? Is it just like they're all fucked up on crazy ass acid? Because like when he's talking to one of his friends, and the friend is describing this group, he's like, yeah, they're a bunch of bikers got fucked up on bad batch of acid, never been the same since.
yeah.
And so it's like, are these? Because they seem to have some fucking superhuman abilities.
Yes, for sure.
And it's like, is it PCP strength,
Or is it through the
or-
lens of PCP?
Well, yeah, or is it that they just like the acid's so good that they've just like transcended into some kind of like there is some other fantasy element
I'm a
and they've
demon.
opened the door. They've opened their minds enough to see the door to the other like side of the other side, death basically. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah. It's even in the movie they're talking about. It's when he's talking about you bathing in the pools of what is the line when he's talking about mystics and psychosis and how there's a fine line between it.
No, he. Are you talking about the like at the very end when he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mystics, or like bullshit
the
artists
psychotic,
drown.
the psychotic drown,
Psychotics drown where
in
mystics swim.
Swim, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like that kind of ties into that question as well,
Yeah.
because like you're kind of riding the line and you don't know, it's ambiguous, but like your experience is definitely a supernatural one.
Yeah, it's also a line from Joseph Campbell's "A Hero with a Thousand Faces," which is I'm not to diminish the context of what it's putting in this. Like I think there definitely can be a lot read in there, but like it's also like basically referencing the monomyth and talking about how like the psychology of crazy people basically will drown in these religious ideologies. Like if you get too far into a religion become obsessed, then like
and your ego takes over.
yeah, you know, and you're not well, and mentally you're going to
You shall not ascend.
But like that's another big question about this movie is like, does this movie function as any kind of like metaphor? Is there any deeper meaning to anything that's happening here? Like can we, if we really sat down and broke down the images and the different symbols and stuff and like what they mean, like could we ever like derive some kind of like greater meaning from the movie?
I think maybe, but also maybe in some sense that we're not used to as well. Because I think this movie really does break a lot of the, you know, quote unquote rules of like making film. Like clearly, like through, you know, something as simple as showing the Shadow Mountains, like not just in text, but like in this illustrious text with like the stars behind it, and then like introducing Children of the New Dawn, the cult with Jeremiah, like as this its own like kind of metal looking like 70s like logo, like it's a band. And then like not introducing Mandy until an hour 15 minutes into the film, like the title sequence. Like I feel like this movie just kind of it's doing its own thing, and I think that the deeper meaning could, you know, not necessarily be a meaning in which we would normally interpret film. I don't know.
I feel like it was an album.
Yeah,
Kinda,
I can see
yeah.
that. I can see that for sure.
And like all those title sequences were like album art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so rooted in like the 60s, 70s kind of like rock, heavy metal, you know, kind of like shit. And it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it
It
essentially
made you feel like you were like part of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is kind of structured like an album too. I mean, it's like told through these like sections, you know, and there's these different like, I mean, they're all wildly different. If you when you watch like the beginning, the middle, and the end, like everything plays out in like the tone is like different in each section. So it is kind of like an album with these like movements. I don't know if that has any meaning.
I like that. That's fucking cool.
It's
like
cool.
That,
it's really cool.
It seems like that would be something that like if Panos Cosmatos had said that, I would be like, okay, yeah, could totally see that. And he didn't say it, and you said it, and maybe that's true. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I like
that.
I do have to ask, like, does it even matter if this movie has any deeper meaning? Like,
I don't. I think it's so fucking enjoyable and just like super fun, and it has its. It knows what it's doing. It knows its audience, and nobody's seen that. In a long time.
No, I feel like it really is again in that, and in like a video game, it's a really experiential thing.
Yes.
Like there's not. I mean, maybe there is some deep meaning behind the story that the director or the writer can tell us about, but it seems like it's a pretty base story of like abduction. Because like, where does this abduction come from? Like, it's just just fucking spots her.
Yeah.
It's just like, there we go. Like,
it's essentially just like chaos. It's just like he happens upon her and like decides.
It's also
I want
random that it just seems like it's something that happens, and it's just like here it is.
Well,
experience.
I was kind of writing down this like, just kind of like writing notes about this movie, thinking about it and stuff, and like, I was thinking like as I thought about it more that the movie kind of stands in as just like a warning for like digging too deep into art. Like he layers this movie with lots of like symbols and stuff, right? But when you start digging into like, well, what could that possibly mean? There's not really like, you can't really find anything. You can kind of put your own like whatever you want onto it and say, you can say it means whatever you want. And so it made me think that like it's almost like a not a metaphor, but like a warning for like like the meaning of the movie is like, don't try to look too far into things and put your own bullshit on stuff.
I like that very much, and it made me think almost of like how Mandy and Red are both. Red's kind of just like a normal guy, but Mandy has this like mysticism. Like she's not like too far gone or anything. She's not like the hippie cult, but she's kind of a version like like maybe went like the hippie cult version of her is like they've gone too far. And she's just like kind of interested, like she's talking about the planets with Red and stuff like that, you know? Like she's interested in the stuff, but she's not so deep in it that she's like a fucking psycho and she's like religious about it or anything. I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of I can see that almost like they're the same breed, but one has just gone off the fucking deep end with it. I don't know.
I wouldn't even.
Maybe not even, but
I don't know about.
As Chase was talking about that,
like,
it made me think about that.
Well, to continue what my thought, it was like basically at the end of the day, the point of the movie is, hey, this is supposed to be experienced. Like, don't try to like figure it out necessarily. Like, it's just meant to be experienced. And like, there's these little things that he did through the movie as you like start to try and like decode it or whatever that keep like throwing you back to this idea that like it's not really meant to be. Like you're kind of just supposed to experience it, and it is what it is. And kind of like life is, like there's not really a fucking meaning. We're just kind of here, and like, hey, it's a cool experience. Just enjoy it. Don't try and like figure out what it means, because that's where you're going to run into problems. Like with Jeremiah, you're going to become somebody like that.
Yeah, no, just given the way that like there was the the call to action or whatever, like her getting abducted and everything, or like them getting abducted. It seemed like if there was any reasoning, any purpose behind that, and it was just the utter chaos that is life. It was just a representation of that and nothing more. Because what is life but chaos? You know,
Yeah.
It is birth and death and sex in between to create more birth and death.
Lust for life.
Yeah, it's a last. I can't do Werner Herzog, and I apologize for my impression in the last episode.
It's fine, baby. It's fine. It's all gravy.
I'm gonna stop pretending that I can even attempt it. So,
It's just fun. It's just fun to do.
I think there's a
Having fun.
lot of speculation that we can have, and I don't mind speculation, but I'd like to pull back and maybe talk about
talks about some of these
what the themes of the movie kind of are. Dive into that and talk about more questions. What was the question that we just asked?
We were talking about if it was supernatural or not.
Oh yes,
Is that-
yes.
the fantasy.
So what you talk about?
Fantasy
Yeah.
aspect.
What we talk about?
Yes. I'd like to talk about like loneliness and like loss of love, and then just revenge in general. That's very much what the movie is at its
Loss of favorite shirt.
at its surface level. Surface level, boom. That's what the movie is. I don't know a lot of its core, but the surface is awesome.
That's what I think. I think it's all about the surface.
I really like the surface of this movie.
Well, the visual aesthetics here are fucking dope.
They're beautiful.
It's lots of like neon red lighting and all that stuff, but there's little things. So like, and that brings me actually to one of my questions, which is the scene where they've drugged Mandy, the cult has, and he's trying to seduce her, and he's playing his song, and he gets down in her face, and then you get that close up of him, and he's delivering his monologue. That's like
when he was in the deep and God like kissed him and shit.
Yeah, and then Mandy's face is just on top of his face, but it's like just around the nose and eyes, and then
he's like
it's
like
disappearing,
he's
but it's so
he's
subtle.
half panning it over to like blend and then just bringing it right back.
But
it's so fucking crazy.
That's what he does. He does it several times. It's super trippy. I think if there was any purpose to it other than just being trippy, it was, that's what Jeremiah's attempting to do there, is he's bringing her into his mind.
It's almost like a
He's trying to like absorb her.
hypnosis kind of thing. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good like language of film kind of thing to do with the scene.
It was a really good visual representation of fucking tripping balls and having a fucking Charles Manson fucking talk your goddamn ear off
and try and steal your
Charles
identity
Manson,
from you.
Yeah, trying to get into your head.
Yeah.
The best thing about it is really
to
just
crack it.
how similar. Like it just their faces blend so well together that you're like, wait.
Yeah,
it kind of looks like Kind of looks like Mandy right now.
And his eyes get
Again,
black and
it's because it
round.
takes fucking 3 hours to do it. It's because it takes fucking 5 minutes for that goddamn scene, and then, so they take forever to blend it, and so you're like,
It's fucking great. Dude. I'm happy that they
it's
take
great.
the
No,
time.
it's great. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, it's extra trippy because
You
it's
like
so
need
slow.
to. Yeah, you really need to though. Rob Goldman, who was on our what episode? I don't even remember.
Strange Color of the Body.
Strange
Another
Color of
crazy
Your
ass
Body's
movie.
Tears. He literally texted me. He moved to Tampa. He was like, "Hey, I'm watching Mandy right now. What the fuck?" It was like 10:30 a.m. I was like, "Are you high? Or what are you doing? Are you smoking drugs?" And he was like, "I'm on caffeine." And I was like, no, sir. You need to turn that off. You need to wait till it's nighttime. You need to smoke a bunch of weed. Maybe do acid. You're probably fine with it.
Yeah,
Watch the movie." And then he said, wait. Some like demon bike riders just showed up. I think I'll get through this. See you later. And I was like, oh, okay. You literally got like 10 minutes in the film and
And you're like,
decided to
what?
text me. Because it's probably felt like a long time. Because, yeah, I don't know. It does seem like a long time, but you really just fucking sink in and enjoy. Because it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of just got to soak it in.
Get in the hot tub, watch Mandy.
I do.
But some caffeine's not a bad idea.
Caffeine's not bad. It keep you attention.
Keep some by like a little shot.
Just to get you through the first hour. Just to get you through the first hour. Second hour, you're good. You're good at the second hour.
You're like, whoa! Why did I drink that caffeine? I'm fucking stoked. Woo!
Yeah, it's like a fucking roller coaster. I do want to say something if we go back to that face scene that it's like the camera's from her point of view. And I think there's like kind of an interesting thing done with the point of view in this movie, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But you're from her point of view, and like she's on drugs, and you have this cult leader who's trying to like assimilate her basically. And like if you look at it from her point of view, it's like she's like hallucinating this moment of like someone who's like literally trying to like she sees herself in him, like every cult leader, like a good cult leader, you see yourself in the cult leader. That's how he attracts all of these like followers, and it's like kind of one of those things I feel like where I just thought about that. But
yeah,
maybe the back and forth was her rejecting him.
Yeah, like her being like, wait, like psychologically, like through the hallucination, like fighting the urge or the temptation to like see herself in this like.
If we would put it in 70s term, it's pretty much he thought she was super fucking groovy. And she saw through his grooviness. I was like, you know what? I don't think so. I'm gonna laugh at your fucking. I love when she says, "Is this? Did you make this song?" He's like, "Yes."
She's
He's like, "You were singing this? Are you serious?" And she just starts laughing, and just like it becomes so fucking like she just like. Fuck you. Just becomes so evil within her. She's not evil. And you're like, yeah, you're doing the fucking right thing, girl. Get it. Yeah. It's, I love it so much. And he's just like, shut up.
You're like, ooh, it's great. That's hilarious, Mandy. But you're about to get fucking your head chopped off.
Suppose you did.
Yeah. What does he? What does he say in the mirror right after that scene when he's like freaking out in the mirror and he's like, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" Is that what he's saying? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah,
What do
that's
I do?
awesome.
And he's
that's a really good scene.
He's like
because it's
talking
like
to
he
himself
does
like he's a
like
god.
contact through to himself. It's like him talking to himself in his head. It's very.
But like he obviously thinks he's.
Well, it's
like,
him also just.
Or he obviously just thinks he's like a fucking religious figure because he's like.
I love the depressive state and like going into panic. It's awesome.
I was just thinking about him doing that as in like, oh fuck, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because like I haven't had somebody just reject me so hard like that and just like really panicking at it.
Exactly. It's like him freaking out about this moment, but then. To find the solution, he just looks into a mirror and he talks to the mirror like the mirror is like the deity, you know?
Yeah.
Like so, like I feel like it's his psychology breaking down because he's just like this. He's like hurt by the rejection, like any narcissist would be.
Do you think Sand is a last name on purpose?
Probably.
House built out of sand, something like that.
Probably.
Like could be like something like, oh, he gets so like his ego gets so built up, but it's so easy to fucking topple, and he's just like, I don't know, it's just a thought.
Yeah. No, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like an incel who's capable of creating a fucking cult, basically. And he's just like freaking out that someone rejected him.
Yeah, it's some wild shit, man. He's scary. I almost wish that Richard Brake was the cult leader, though. But this guy does really well, too.
Well, I heard in an interview that Nicolas Cage was originally
Supposed to be
the cult leader.
Yeah, that's wild.
Then what happened?
He didn't want to do it. He told Panos that he was like, I'll do the movie if I can be Red. And Panos didn't come around for like a year.
Well, he didn't want him to be red.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't think that makes sense because it's supposed to be originally like a youth versus age movie. That's how he kind of.
But
wanted
I don't
to-
know. I prefer this guy.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Nick
I
Cage
think they
as
like.
the-
He was Bruce Wayne's father in Batman Begins, by the way.
Oh, I do recognize him from that. Thanks,
this would just be another one of those like Nick would be way too
over
Nick.
the top. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It would just be too much.
Like the guy who played...
and I don't want to see his dick.
No.
Yeah.
I thought about that immediately when I heard about it. I was like, I don't want to see that.
I think that scene would have played differently
Yeah, because
if Nick Cage.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, do you think they have the money for Nick Cage's dick though? They had the money for Nick Cage, but did they have the money for Nick Cage's
Probably.
dick?
probably.
At this point,
He had a decent sized budget for this.
well, also it's like he's Nick Cage. He fucking loves experimental acting.
You do make a good point, though, that I can't think of anything in my head where Nick Cage truly has any nude scenes at all. Besides, like, maybe shirtless.
When do we see his butt? You see him pretty naked in Ghost Rider, if I remember seeing that back in 2006 correctly. Or whenever the
Oh
fuck
yeah.
that
No,
was.
he hangs full dong in Ghost Rider, right?
It's
That's
just,
the movie that he held his
it's
dick.
just a little, like, flame.
Yeah.
It just spits out a little flame at the end after he's done.
After he gets done having sex with Eva Mendes.
Oh my God, another one.
Wow, good job, guys. Great scene.
Y'all
That's
picked
lunch.
really good movies to be in together.
I think I'm gonna be sick. What was the question? Did we answer it?
So,
Moving on.
moving on. So, what does the why are Mandy's eyes red in the nightmare? Like the cart, like.
So
Okay.
Nicolas Cage has many nightmares throughout this.
Actually, we'll get to this question in a second. Are they nightmares?
Sweet ass heavy metal nightmares.
Oh yes.
Well, let's just talk about it. Yeah. Are they nightmares? Or is it like some spiritual interaction?
Yeah,
kind
I
of?
don't know. It seems to have a like, especially at the end in that end sequence.
Side note: these nightmares are animation in the style of heavy metal.
Yes. Yes, they
Yes.
are. And
Very fucking cool.
I guess I didn't really think about it. I really did just kind of be like, okay, Nicolas Cage is having these nightmares. But obviously, yeah, that would coincide if it has any meaning
Well,
to the plot.
the first time I saw the movie, I was just like, these are nightmares. But like literally, I watched the last hour today at work, and when I was watching it, I was like, they didn't strike me as a nightmare. It struck me as like these weird, like, I don't know how to describe them, but like,
It's almost like
blending
it's-
to that fantasy.
It almost looks like he's having like a third eye into the dimension that Mandy is in at this point, like her
I was
soul has
gonna
traveled to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't have necessarily called them nightmares. Yeah, I thought that exactly they were like these drug fueled like interdimensionary fucking like bleep, little glimpses of like a spirit realm, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
And like it, and that's what made me also think that there was a supernatural element on some level to this, that like, cause like when she's like pulling the heart out of the demon and shit, like in another one of those
Yes.
like dream sequence things.
Yeah. which is dope. It's like
Yeah.
glowing green.
Yeah. So I'm on the same page with you, Alan. I don't think nightmare. I call them dream sequences, but I think that they were trips. But I mean, that's the other thing is like, what does this guy consider trip? Like the director and everything. Does he consider
Well, it's almost
tripping
like-
just like tripping, or
it's like a
is he a
premonition
guy who
or
thinks
like
of it
just like a view
as
into-
like interdimensionary fucking shit?
Yeah, it seems to me that he kind of has like this interdimensionary shit. Yeah. One of his trademarks thus far, and he's only has 2 movies, is that there's like full on characters in the movie take acid, and then we see a trippy fucking POV sequence, and like it's not, you're not really in someone's point of view in terms of the camera work, but like it's just like a trip sequence. And
You're talking
they're
about
in
the jar.
Yeah, like the scene where he takes the acid, and then and there being kind of like this acid sequence, and then in Beyond the Black Rainbow, there's like a 15-minute long black and white sequence where a guy takes acid and just like it's insane.
Because I mean, if you really want to like go with it, like, you could. If you were talking about like a reptilian conspiracy aspect to this, thinking about this and like multi-dimensional shit, and thinking about the Invisibles, like they talk about like these like demon overlords that are in this other realm and everything, and that you can use different meditations and tripping and stuff to experience different parts of these realms and different levels of consciousness. And like, what if that has some involvement in this? And like, you could go in a lot of different directions.
I'd fully believe
depending
that.
on how deep down the rabbit hole or your own personal rabbit hole you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Which brings us back to the deeper meaning point, but I don't want to talk about that. I actually want to talk about how it's most likely that there is that interdimensional aspect to this. Quite possibly even like a reference to the Invisibles in some like weird influence way, like there's like Cthulhian vibe to the demon bikers, in my opinion. Like in my notes, I wrote down they're Hellraiser rejects.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I think Hellraiser all the way.
Which is
Well,
a
so like,
Cthulhian
okay,
thing.
these demon bikers, guys, they're like, they're all like look like some fucking Lord of the Rings orcs, all like wet and black and tarred up and shit.
Yeah.
But like, so it's like, okay, they're big, badass, fucking crazy bikers. But then here's the supernatural bit: is one of them literally gets a fucking crossbow bolt through his neck, and just like,
and
pulls
that's
it
the
out,
Reaper.
and then and just hand-to-hand combat fucking fights Nick Cage. Then
they definitely seem to have like supernatural powers. And after Cage takes the acid from the jar, which is directly
which like energizes him.
Yeah,
after he snorts whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, it's like he does their drugs, and then directly after that, it's the scene you're talking about where he shoots the guy through the neck as he's like escaping by the burning car. That's what you're talking. Yeah. And then he's able to like fight everybody. Like everything he does after that point is just like mostly him kicking ass and just getting into really crazy fights. Whereas the 2 people before was him. Like he like stumbled and he fucked up and he was seen in the TV. He got caught.
He fucked up. He fucked up a bunch of times after that. Like he fucking walked around that corner revving up the chainsaw, and then fucking.
But he pulled it off.
He did pull it off though.
He fought
but
that guy.
I don't know.
He
If,
did.
I don't know if that's a. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
And
I'm trying to
No,
put
but
it
that's
together
the
in my
thing.
mind right now.
He pulled it off in a lot of those fights, like the one where he gets seen in the TV.
He
pulls
kicks the
it
guy
off
in
at
the
end.
face, like right away from the ground. He's doing a lot of crazy shit, like against these demons that are like powerful as fuck. It's very crazy.
Yeah,
It felt like it enhanced him slightly to me. Like I could be just literally putting that on the movie.
I did like notice. I was like, okay, he seemed so jacked. Like, cause I wanted to know. I was watching the second time, and after he did that, okay, I was like, what effect is this going to have on him? And it just seemed to like fucking like amp him the fuck up and like almost drive him more.
I mean, it literally face melted. It was face melting acid. Literally showed his face just fucking melt.
It
Which
was
is
awesome.
Awesome.
It was so
Yeah, yeah. But the
And, like, got
but the
Adult
you
Swimmy.
ripped my shirt. But the you ripped my shirt scream was before that.
Yeah, but like he.
Oh, and him
And that was
breaking the
pretty
neck like Steven
energetic.
Seagal. And that face.
Yeah.
but but he is like emotionally reacting there, and he kills the guy, but he's like injured, and like he'd already fucked up with the first guy, but
Covered in blood.
he seemed to become much more successful after he took the acid, like quickly, like he became quicker at killing
I can
people.
see it. I can see it. He got some motherfucking
No,
confidence, perhaps. I don't know.
Because
I really do think
because
his
after
drive
the acid,
got boosted.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the
His
acid
sexual
didn't pep him.
libido.
All I'm just okay, but realistically, the next one was just he shot one guy with an arrow. Okay, got him. Yeah, and then wait. Oh no, he shot the dude with the arrow and then fought him by the fire, and then he killed the other redneck with the arrow, and then he had the chainsaw fight, right?
Well, no, he shoots the demon with the arrow and then kills him, and then he cuts his head off, and then
Yes, but then after that fight, it's one more kill with the crossbow and chainsaw, right?
the chainsaw guy's in the cult after he kills the dude by throwing his axe and just fucking nailing the little like inbred dude in the head.
Oh, that's
And,
it. That's what
it's
it
later
is.
on,
It's the axe.
The
I kept
axe.
thinking it's a long range attack. I
Yeah.
was thinking crossbow, but it's the axe.
But the axe thing comes after he's killed the dude in the woods.
He kills Butthead.
He kills Butthead with the axe, but like the dude in the woods where he stabs him through the mouth, and the guy when they're in the van,
Brother
he's in the
Swan.
van.
He stabs Brother
When he
Swan
stabs
through the
Brother
mouth.
Swan,
And
that
he
happens in
says, better to burn out than to...
between. Yeah.
And I'm like,
The blood
wow.
sound effects in that scene were horrifying.
They are bad.
I loved it.
all the fucking like burning
Real squishy
references
sounds.
that they're making
Real
as well
squishy.
to Mandy's soul, like who's just laughing,
darker the whore, the brighter the flame.
who's just laughing, just saying she's burning as he's killing him.
She's
That
still
seems
burning.
fucked.
That was the arrow guy by the car.
The guy
Yeah,
who
he gets the axe
That
out
was
of his
she's
head.
still
Yeah,
burning,
yeah.
but
Yeah, he's just like, she's still burning. She burns. That's
no, but
fucked.
the guy who got killed through the mouth was the guy who, like, while she was burning, was like, the darker the whore, the brighter the flame.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Darker the whore? Ew, dude. Like, ew, be careful, dude.
You killed her because
You're
she
being recorded right now.
Yeah,
You
like,
killed
what
her
do you
'cause she
mean by
wasn't
darker?
being one. Like,
Do we really need to get into this right now?
so
We've gone off the deep end on every other Nicolas Cage episode.
Well, this brings us back to the question: why does Mandy have red eyes in the what I would call the interdimensional nightmare sequences?
I would say that I can answer that by referring to another question that really deals with the end of the film. Honestly, I think they are connected.
Okay, what is it?
I think that in the end of the film, I have a theory about Mandy's soul. Mandy's soul is what he's getting a glimpse into, and it's her soul, almost like her soul is burning the whole time. They even reference that in the scene we were just talking about. Her soul
Conflagrating.
Her soul is still burning. She's dead.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Isn't the first
It's
part?
it's complicated.
Conflagrated.
It's complicated.
Well, isn't the
complicated.
isn't the first cartoon of Mandy being like tortured or something? Like
Oh, her face is melting. And
yeah.
like, she's like fading away. Yes. And then she vanquished a demon. And then her eyes are red. And I don't know what that means, honestly. I really don't know why her eyes are red. But I have a theory about her soul just kind of being captured. And then perhaps him freeing it. But also he seems kind of psychotic at the end. So I'm not really sure. But it almost seems like a soul thing, where you're kind of viewing into her soul at that point. Nicolas Cage
It's a
is.
soul thing.
And by defeating Jeremiah and the cult lead and everyone in the cult. I think that maybe he frees her soul, and that's why she's in the passenger seat at the end. But I don't fucking know. That's just what the path that my thoughts took me to, baby.
It seemed to me like, because I read your questions today before I rewatched the last hour of the movie.
Oh, okay.
And it did feel to me like he had somehow freed her soul, or she was already free and
or
came
maybe
to
he's crossed the line into psychosis now. That's also another thing I didn't think about.
No, that's exactly what I was gonna ask. Was like, I got a question tied into that. Is like, I think after he took that fucking jar, which okay, you guys say jar of acid, but that looked like a jar of just gray like laundry lint mixed with lard.
Oh, you're
like
you're
it
not
just
wrong,
looked
for
like
sure.
a jar of
For sure.
fucking shortening.
Maybe with some red coloring a little
Crisco.
bit from the lights.
Well, and the only
It just looked gray, like gray fat to me.
if they hadn't have described it as acid, the guy in the trailer hadn't described it as acid or mentioned that they'd taken acid, because you don't even know if that's actually acid. I mean, you're right. It doesn't look like it, but that's the only reason that I have put that on there is just because
also the acid trip that he has immediately as he touches
I mean,
his tongue to it.
I knew that was some sort of drug, obviously, but I don't know that that's acid.
You wouldn't be
and
like,
it's like,
that's
why
acid.
would you? What? He's in a trailer. He's in a fucking little cult compound filled with.
Exactly. I don't know what he's doing. Is he looking for food?
You look around, there's fucking trash and like goddamn McDonald's bags everywhere, and there's a mason jar filled with what looks like grease on the counter, and you're like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make
Protein,
much
baby.
intuitive sense to do that. Also, I have a question for you guys, because when I thought when he came out of the basement and he passes the room and he sees the dude dead, slumped over the dead woman on the bed.
Yeah.
What happened to his ass?
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. His ass was gone.
I don't know what happened to his ass.
I think they ate it.
Did you? No.
not
It's just his ass is gone. Did you not see that guy? Doesn't have an ass.
No, I saw him.
No ass on that man.
They probably ate it. Because
The honeymooners.
You know, it's the fattest.
Yeah.
But
Like literally just skinned ass, bacon.
do you guys think that was like the original owner of the house and they just like killed them, and then like it's just fucking trash because they're just like living there, just not
that
giving a
makes
shit?
very much sense, but no, I did not think that.
That's
That's a good
that was like
approach.
the first thing I thought when I saw it this time, not the first time.
Oh no, I just assumed that was just like any member of them. They just like eventually were just like killed in some fucking crazy fuck orgy, like crazy blood orgy shit.
The reason that makes me think that it wasn't is like it was like an older looking guy and there was a woman in the bed.
older looking couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look
honestly,
like a couple.
it makes sense to me because you don't
Yeah.
ever see anyone else. I expected after seeing that to see like more bodies, but it's just them who were like murdered.
Yeah.
So it seems like it was just like this is their house. I can see that.
Yeah.
They just like shut
That
up,
plays.
killed him.
That
and-
That plays. Play ball, baby.
Okay, we got one. 1 for 10, baby.
Well, that was the question, but who owns the house? That's what I was wondering.
There's an answer in the movie.
I feel like we have a second one because I feel like for sure Nick Cage is perma fucked up at the end. Like that smile he's got.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that really it's just like you're not
He'll
gonna
never be
make
the
Nicolas
same.
Cage do that unless he's a fucking psychopath in the end.
I don't think he's a psychopath, but I just don't think he'll ever be. I think he'll always be.
Nope.
Okay, so you know the scene when
reality is bent.
exactly when he meets the fucking chemist guy, the
Richard Brake.
Richard Brake character,
The beautiful Richard Brake.
which we will talk about that scene.
The chemist. You can call him
Yeah,
the chemist.
But the chemist points out, he goes, "Oh, you see them too," and it shows those like fucking like metallic looking worm things on his feet, and it's like very
Millipedes.
Yeah, it's very well. I guess are they millipedes? They
Metallic
look crazy.
worms I like more.
It reminded me.
Those
ahead.
Ridley
Millipedes.
Scott creatures.
Well, they reminded me of they're millipedes, but they reminded me of Tetsuo, the Iron Man like stuff from that movie.
Yeah.
And it was kind of
They look like some cybernetic fucking organs. They look like some cyber bio shit.
Exactly.
You know?
It was like a Lovecraftian Tetsuo or something, and I was just like, but like the image itself was like, even though they're millipedes, I was like, okay, he's seeing into this like literally this like Lovecraftian fucking like
You got a dark aura, man.
like Invisibles level interdimension. Yeah,
That
he says
scene-
the black cosmic waves are like emanating from you or something. Like
I'm
that.
surfing him, bro.
So I think possibly by the end of the movie, yeah, he's perma fucked up, but he's not necessarily a psycho. He's just like constantly gonna be able to like participate with this like other
That
dimension.
scene that you were just talking about with the chemist really did. It seems so iconic. It seems like almost like an anime-esque kind of Blade Runner kind of thing. Almost like I don't know. There's like a aspect of it that I liked more. I don't know. It took you into a almost. It
was very
just
minimal.
how it felt.
It was like
It was so minimal and like.
Well, Chase and I were saying like a
future-y
video
and-
game cutscene.
Yes.
It sort of thing.
That's exactly what it felt
I
like.
can see that for sure.
like right in between defeating the second to last boss and then before you invade the final boss's enemy compound, and you go to that cutscene where you find out where the last compound is.
And I'm
it's
so-
that's what it
Just
feels
an
like.
informational
my
cutscene.
God.
Just
Exactly.
an informational.
So happy that
But well
they
done.
switched it to a tiger just so you could have that fucking like tiger roar under the moon. That's like crazy heavy metal. Like just looks like a T-shirt at Walmart.
It's literally what I
Like,
wrote
it
down.
looked-
It's literally what I wrote down.
It looks
a Walmart
awesome.
t-shirt. baby.
How them motherfuckers get a tiger in a cage? How them motherfuckers get that tiger in the cage?
Yeah, I mean they are in what seems to be like the Northwest. So, but at the same time, the last shot of this movie makes me think this isn't even planet Earth.
If you talk to Mike Tyson, he said you can order tigers, man. It's easy.
No, the last shot, this is planet Earth. The last shot is just that Nick Cage is fucked up. I think that last shot, like showing the fucking trippy ass, like spacescape, moonscape shit
Yeah.
going on in the background, that's just like, that's what Nick Cage sees now. That's what Red sees now. That's his
happens
fucking
even
life.
I think you're right.
Even
You're right.
earlier in the movie, though, it is happening throughout. When Mandy and Red were talking about planets, right when that scene ends, it goes up into the sky, and there's like really psychedelic light, like kind of like the Northern Lights going on there.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
It's
show
not like
a-
crazy
it
planets and shit, but it still is like pretty fantastical.
The planets match one of the last images in the cartoon when she pulls, like when you were talking about earlier, where she pulls that organ out of the
where the planets in the
demon
background?
thing, and the planets in the background. At least to me, I mean, I didn't sit there and like compare the images, but like next to each other, but like it looked like they were modeled after the same, like they looked the same.
I can see
So I feel like there is like that connection there. Like he's like almost himself crossed over into this other dimension that Mandy's in now.
Yeah, that smile worried me, but I feel like I understand it. That just with
Well,
that
I don't
smile
think it's
alone,
that he's
really,
crossed over. I don't think it's that he's crossed over in her dimension or whatever. Like she's fucking dead. I think he's
he's
just fucking bonkers on acid now.
yeah, it's a little.
But that also is us. Like if that truly is the ending, and I'm not saying it's not, but that would mean that the fantasy element truly is like a fabrication from his point of view, and not reality. So I mean I don't know.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I like it. I like it a lot because you don't have to go back and like necessarily contextualize everything within that, but like the end of that, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting. It's super interesting, and I don't think he goes like through a journey of like tripping more and more until he's just fucking crazy. Like I don't know. It's a fucking weird ass movie, and it being involved with drugs and like in the drug culture really just. I don't know if there is any deeper meaning.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things you can look at here and try and derive meaning from. So, like, I mean, everything we've been talking about thus far, but you can also talk about how Panos uses color in this movie and the colored lights, and the way it kind of like dictates the shift in point of view of like whose side of the story we're seeing. So like the beginning, for the most part, we're from Mandy's point of view, and everything's like very like red or blue or like crazy lighting, like, and it's very psychedelic. And then when we get to the hour mark and Mandy's is burned, right? When Mandy's burned and we've cut out of that red bathed scene with the music playing, Nicolas Cage is like much more naturally lit. I mean, there's still all the style to it, but like then like when they burn her, everything's lit by the fire. And then he, through like a lot of his early part of his journey, everything's lit naturally for the most part, or like more naturally. And there's not a lot of crazy color. And then as his journey moves on, the color starts to get more and more extreme until he gets to the very end. And then it's
But
back
I
to
would
these
say-
like the style is from the beginning. And he's using these colors like to kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot you can derive from looking at that.
But Jeremiah, first time you see him, is also lit naturally.
The first time you see him is in
When he's
the
talking
bathed in red.
and when he's talking to Brother Swan for the first time, and the old woman.
So you're seeing
and
that
he's-
scene from his point of view.
Yes.
So, but like that's my point. He's using these colors to kind of dictate what point of view you're seeing. So like when we're in the drug scene or anytime we're with Mandy, there's crazy colors. With Cage, we have this progression of natural to crazy. And we're only in Jeremiah's head for like a little bit, and it's typically naturally lit, and except for the drug scene. But we're really from Mandy's point of view there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, but you can derive meaning from all of that. I mean, I haven't sat down and tried to do it, so I can't make any like real points about what it means at this moment. But
I'm sure it does mean something. I'm sure that's his art. In like, it seems like his art is like lighting everything and like creating it a certain way, exactly how he wants it with the film grain and everything. Like he
wants it to look a certain way.
He wants it to look a certain way, and he takes his time. And it seems like that is his language.
And I definitely would say it's not arbitrary. And so I think what's interesting about this movie is the way the color and the lighting and the camera work is done is like it's done methodically and for a reason, and like that is informed by like the plot or the subtext or the point of view or like, you know, all these different like factors. And typically when you see a movie that's crafted like that, there's all this meaning infused behind it as well, or like, you know, some idea of meaning. But he's like, I don't really care about that. I want to craft something that's just like incredibly beautiful, and there's all this subtle work done to like really like make you feel part of like an experience. But that's the value of it. It's like very crafted and it's very meticulous, and it is on purpose, but it doesn't necessarily have a deeper meaning.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like that. So we should talk about Nicolas Cage, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
Old Nicky.
Nicolas Cage is what brought us all together to do this. I'm just kidding. In January, we've been feeling it, and it's 2019, and this is how we started 2019, is watching Nicolas Cage movies. And Nicolas Cage in this movie...
It already drove me crazy.
Nicolas Cage in this movie specifically, in Mandy, his performance, perfect for the character. It makes the character better, I think. There's a lot of characters I don't know. When I see them through Nicolas Cage's perspective and how he does the character, I'm like, how else could they have been done?
He definitely makes them his own.
And this honestly is a character that I could have seen played by a lot of other people, but he did a really good job with it. Like,
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
Like the other roles that we've seen him in this month, they were Nick. They were Mr. Cage.
They were
Luke
only
Cage.
Mr. Cage.
Yeah. But this one, yeah. I mean, this one could have been played by a lot of other people, but he did a phenomenal job.
He
with
brings
it.
himself, but you still believe it in the vein of the film, you know?
Yeah. And he is nice and subdued at the beginning. It's not like and then then his wife gets fucking incinerated and then it unleashes Cage is uncaged and he starts drinking and you're just like there you are, bud, there you are, man.
Yeah.
And he comes on out.
But they really do use a lot of the best parts without going too overboard, like with him in the film, because he's not like fucking, he's got his emotions that are tying him to that madness that you see in Nicolas Cage a lot. And like once he's past that, it's like kind of revenge stuff. And it's not a lot of like crazy, weird, jokey stuff where you're like, Nicolas Cage, whoa. There's like a couple things that are like Nicolas Cagey, and it's just because he can't help it. He's Nicolas Cage, and he's adding to the
drenched
film.
in blood. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're like,
but I'm just saying,
shit.
it doesn't go over that cliff like a lot of other films do. It really uses Nicolas Cage in a believable, awesome, sparing way. Yeah,
it's
sure.
like right after Mandy dies, and we get like the Cheddar Goblin sequence, which I don't even think we talked about.
We didn't even talk about Cheddar Goblin. That's how invested in the fucking
like
beauty of this film we are. Honestly, that's crazy. Cheddar Goblin's great.
Yeah, fucking love Cheddar Goblin.
It's goblin good.
But right, like after that sequence is when he's like doing the drinking and stuff. It's not too long after that, and it's definitely tied into like the raw emotion of like what just happened with Mandy. And then as the movie goes on, we get a couple bursts of like Cage-isms basically. But they're all in these moments that are like, you're not going, that doesn't make sense. That's just funny. You're going like, oh, that fits the scene.
Yeah. It doesn't take you out of the movie as most Cage-isms kind of do, where you're just like, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, where the point of the movie is to kind of be there for the Cage-isms. Like Face Off is great, but it's mostly because Cage is just letting you just be like, I can't wait for the next moment that he's fucking crazy.
Cage and Travolta just fucking murder the fucking entire realm of like being the most what the fuck actors ever.
Yeah, it's like nothing in the context of the scenes really even makes sense. Like, so it does, but like at the same time, you're just like, it's way over the top. And like in this, it doesn't feel over the top, even though it is the same kinds of like Cage that we're used to seeing.
I think also the world that you're presented really helps with that as well.
Because everything else is already over the top. Everything's over the top. The lighting, the camera work, the just like the characters themselves. There's fucking demons by the.
It's over the top, but slow and steady, and it's an interesting combination of filmmaking to like present Cage into. It's a very strange mix of things. It's very nice.
And what do you think, Dan?
I mean, again, overall, I enjoyed the film. Thought it could have been a little bit cinched up, but it was an experience. Like we said, it was fucking smoke a big ass fucking joint, sit down in a dark room. Like, if you could watch this with headphones, if you got some big ass, you boys have nice headphones over there. I've got just some earbuds in, but if you got some nice big old headphones on, because the sound in this thing is
that's true,
amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, it's like listening to an album. It's just like you just ride that wave. You just ride it.
So
and Nick, he fucking surfs it. He hangs 10, he delivers his ridiculousness, which is just like lends itself to the bit with making the Reaper. Chase and I were talking about. Yeah, making the battle axe. That's a 6-month experience right there. But like with Nick Cage, you're just like, okay, did that take 12 hours? Yeah, sure. I guess he could have done that in 12 hours. He's a fucking maniac.
Yeah, like where did this come from? He just made this. He knows that he has
a mold for a fucking axe, like that axe.
This is so fucking crazy.
Well, and I just thought of this was with what you were saying, Dan. But like this really does like kind of feel like an album. And in the style of those albums from the time period that this is kind of like emulating, it is a little like it's a little too long and like grandiose and just like over the top. And like there is that like that similarity there where it's like, hey, you could have tightened this up, but like it's enjoyable. Like like, you know, like
the creator can always say like, yeah, I could have, but like I don't have to. And you don't have to. That's the thing is you don't have. You could. I'll watch it anyway.
As long as you're having fun, you know, it's like it's still fun. So it's like, yeah, you could have tightened this up, but like if you're having a good time, all you want is more anyways. You know, and that's kind of like the mentality behind those albums. You know, it's like we're just fucking jamming, and that's kind of what this movie is. It's like we could speed this up. Why not? It's fucking. This is fun. So what do you guys think of our Nicolas Cage? Like we're walking out of the tunnel right now.
We went through 40 years of Nicolas Cage.
We did.
And we've got a lot more to explore, and there's some exploring that we did on our own as well. And I'm honestly, last week I was craving more Cage, and now I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good for a sec. And not in a bad way, because he's a very interesting creature, but it kind of drives you a little mad.
And
well, surprise, Alan. The rest of this year, Nick Cage, all year.
The rest of the movies are going to be the bad ones.
Shit. How many more movies? 48?
87.
He has that many.
He has way more.
We could watch all of them.
That's just a random number. There's more.
Oh my god.
He did like 8 movies in 2018.
Oh my god.
He did this in Spider-Verse. He did a movie with that Hayden Christensen guy from.
That's always a good bet.
Yeah, and like another medieval movie, and like just a handful of other ones. It's like he did so many goddamn movies this year. Besides Mandy and Spider-Verse?
Well, 2018.
Yes, excuse me, 2018, 2019 is still very early on. That's and you're probably listening to this years from those dates because we're famous years from now. And
I can't wait to see what Nicolas Cage has got going on in 2019. 2018 with Mandy really made me very happy.
Oh, it made me very happy. I just don't know what other directors are going to be scrambling to grab him.
It goes back. It goes back to like I really do think that like the director, like you have to kind of know how to handle Cage because he's not someone who can be caged. He's always going to be uncaged.
Well, he
and
actually
like with the right director, I wouldn't even say like it's like there could be good directors. And they get a performance out of Cage. But, like, it really takes something special, I think, with the director to, like, I don't know, to get Cage to really come out of his shell and fucking show you what he's got.
Well, like this movie, it's honestly, like, very restrained. Like, the first hour, we get a couple funny lines from Cage, like funny line deliveries and stuff. Like, when he's talking to Mandy and whatnot. But for the most part, he's very calm. He's just like, "What's up, man?" You know, it's just very like it's a restrained Cage. I mean, we don't really see even when Mandy's being killed, he's like literally restrained, so he can't be that like Cage that we know. It's only until like we get like one scene of him screaming in anger, you know, and then just like iterations of that as he murders people, but. He isn't allowed to like buy Panos to go like full on just like Bad Lieutenant, like screaming at old women kind of Cage.
It takes a silver tongue to tame the beast of Cage.
Yeah. Where you just got to not give him a lot. Just be like
directing him in the right direction can really, I don't know. I think it speaks volumes in like watching these Cage movies. It seems, I don't know. Seems like a lot of people don't know what to do with Cage, and working with him in a way can like produce very different results. But like, I don't know. It's very strange. In a lot of different movies, not even just these 4 that we've watched.
As I obviously haven't gone through all of them, but I to this day think that adaptation is like the most impressive performance he's actually given, where he's not playing anything in
completely.
There's like 1 or 2 moments where he gets that normal, like, or we would like even liken to a Cage moment. But that movie, he's neurotic, and he's like he's talking too much, and it's like in his head, and it's not what your typical Cage is.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And then the brother that he also plays is a little bit more typically Cage, but there's never really any like high drama until the very end for him to like be screaming and stuff. And he's just like this, like, and even then it's not like a normal Cage. He's like this cocky, like, but completely oblivious, like the most earnest character.
Yeah. That's the movie by far that you can separate. Like, you do not think of Cage, really. You really are just invested in the movie.
Like, that's the shining Cage.
That's where like he actually goes into a character more than rather than, like, the character going into him.
Yeah. And,
yeah.
And I think I don't know why that is, because I mean we didn't do adaptation for this series at all, but like that movie is like full of its own interesting trivia and, you know, insanity.
Yeah. It's almost because like it's like an outlier, you know? Like
it's just like, is it the script? Is it Charlie Kaufman? We all know he's a genius. Is the script part of it? Was Spike Jonze like the leading hand? Because I mean, it probably was both. But like,
Cage is another person who's very hard to pin down. He's a person that we're all very interested in because he's clearly talented and also kind of knows, not even kind of, he knows what he's doing. He has a grasp on what is happening. And it's just very strange because you're like, okay, you know what's happening. You're so smart. You're in all these movies, though. And in your terrible movies, you know, and some of that can be...
It's just financial troubles.
Yeah. Attributed to financial troubles. But, like, a lot of it not as well. So it's just a crazy widespread net. And you were like... trying to understand it. It's very interesting. Nicolas Cage, what the fuck?
He seems to really, and we saw this a lot in the series we just did. He seems to really like directors who just let him do whatever he wants and like have power on set. So like Vampire's Kiss, he's like dictating like what's going to happen, you know, like by eating a cockroach or just like, I'm going to play it this way. And the director's like, just go for it. Yeah.
And he seems like he's approaching directors and storylines just as much as like someone would kind of be like Nicolas Cage, like, oh, like I wish I could get him. He'd be like the person who would be like, hey man, I really like this script. Is this going down? Like he'd be like at the studio, just like, I like want to jump on this. So he'd just be like Nicolas Cage.
He's just sitting in a room full of like people who look vaguely like him, and he's just like waiting for his audition. He's just like, hey, is it my turn yet?
I hope I get it.
Just like, what? Wait, are you Nick Cage? And he's like, yeah.
Nick?
You got it.
It's like, yeah, I've been waiting for 15 minutes.
But like if you see like with the director, the way that the Vampire's Kiss was directed, the way Leaving Las Vegas was directed, where he was like actually drunk in the movie and like he was just allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and then he just screams his praises for Werner Herzog on Port of Call New Orleans when Herzog's just like basically tells him like, do it how you would do it kind of thing. Like, that's a director, you know? It's like he has this attraction to just somebody who's just going to let him go, like make all the decisions. And he's just going to go crazy with those decisions for the characters. But it feels like the best performance is when he gets reined in and the directors aren't letting him do that.
It's true. I feel like really all Cage needs is a good partner because I think he really does he has a strange mind for art. And it's cool as fuck. And sometimes it is interpreted in a very odd way. And probably most times that's how he wants it. But it can be interpreted in a bad way sometimes, or like in a way that's, I don't know. I don't fucking know what I'm trying to say, but
you just gotta know how to put the saddle on the man. You know, there's a right way and a wrong way to put the saddle on him, and you gotta make sure you put it on there right. Otherwise, he'll chafe.
Exactly.
Got to know how to ride that cage.
You gotta ride the cage. You gotta ride him the
Yep.
right way.
That cage rides rough.
He's as tricky a beast to tame as he is to understand.
Eva Mendes. Oh wait, what?
No, I mean literally during this whole series, and it's
Elizabeth Shue. Wait, what?
Elizabeth Shue. It's on display in last week's episode how down the rabbit hole I went with this cage thing. Lost my goddamn mind. Trying to understand this man and just being like, at a certain point, which was last week, going like, it's all on purpose. He's a genius. Like he's a genius, and just not even, just went way too far down.
Yeah, I feel like it's like almost so the opposite. That's why we're so baffled. He's just like not even into the Hollywood scene. He's just like some normal fucking dude.
He's so weird. He's so hard to define. It's like to define.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be many things.
I feel like I could get his phone number and call him with relative ease if I really was like, I'm gonna do that.
If you were determined and you had some sort of, some sort of thing that you were doing. I am a documentary filmmaker. I'd like to
shooting this documentary.
Oh, what's it about? He just shows up.
Hi, Nicholas. Yeah, I'd like you to scream into a camera. Oh yeah, I'm down.
Hey, Nicholas, I'm shooting. Let me stop you right there. I'm in the Screen Actors Guild. You got my minimum?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I need.
Well, yes, I'll be there.
Need the minimum. Well, okay, directors out there, everyone, all the directors listening to our podcast right now, make some good shit with Cage. If you can rope up, lasso that cage, get him in your film, man, and do something really cool and experimental. Because I'm sick of him being in these normal ass bunky fucking films where you're like, he's crazy, but the rest of the film around him is just kind of happening.
It's not believable because the world just accepts him, and it's like, but this is that he no. In this and Mandy, it's a breath of fresh air. He's as crazy as the world is.
Yeah, it's like, oh, everything fits wonderful.
All right, guys. So, what was your favorite Cage movie during the 4 that we watched? And I think I know everyone's answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyways.
You go, Alan.
You go, Stiglitz. Hey, what's up? It's me, Alan. Everybody, how you doing? Nicolas Cage movies. So I'll rank them. Vampire's Kiss is arguably my favorite movie of all time. But I can rank these a lot of different ways, okay? I really, really like Vampire's Kiss because of its lore. Mm-hmm. And just everything behind it and how it really, you kind of have to dive into the movie to even know what's really going on the inside of it. Because on surface level, it's kind of not... It's not what it is on surface level. At least in my experience. So... It's a very close tie with Mandy, honestly, because Mandy is just a gorgeous fucking film. But I will have to say that Vampire's Kiss is just so much fun to me. I really love it. I love that we did it. I had a very good time during that episode. I love that film. Vampire's Kiss, number 1. Mandy is definitely number 2, very close behind because it's just fucking psychedelic and badass and reminds me of everything why I love Pink Floyd and fucking psychedelic shit and drugs and Animal Collective and creepy, weird, odd sack shit. It's awesome. I love it so much.
It's just beautiful to look at.
It's fucking great. Amazing sound design. It's a psychedelic trip. I love the psychedelic realm. Super fun. And dark and metal as fuck. Kind of like Metalocalypse and Adult Swim shit in there too. It's extremely relevant to our generation.
Or just our interests.
Our generation though too. I really do think so. And then I would have to go Port of Call and Leaving Las Vegas. If I'm going to rank them all. But I will go no further because I'm not going to talk about the other ones.
I mean, similar, but I'd probably actually say now overall Mandy most pleasing
Yes.
to view, and then I don't know. I liked Leaving Las Vegas a lot. I'd say most confusing would be Vampire's Kiss. I'd give it to Vampire's Kiss. Most like I could, yeah, definitely do with never watching this again. Would go to Port of Call, and Leaving Las Vegas. I would give that superlative to it as that Elizabeth Shue is one fine piece of ace.
Yep, that's commercial success.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elizabeth Shue.
Thank you, Elizabeth Shue. I
All
wish
right.
she would come back. All right, so for me,
JC boy.
okay, so I kind of waffle between Mandy and Vampire's Kiss as my favorite as well. Mostly because my original experiences with Vampire's Kiss were that of like hilarity and like watching with friends and rewatchability. You can show it to so many people and you're always going to laugh, and like you can show it to new people and it's funny and it's a good time, you know.
Entertainment, baby.
It's
For a good time call.
yes. And there's like a lot to dig in there. So if you want to talk about like the implications of everything, which were like half intentional and half like just completely happenstance that they come across, it's a fun one. Mandy though is definitely my favorite aesthetically. It's definitely my favorite visually. It's definitely like style wise,
as a film,
just like Mandy is like a work of art, and the rest of them aren't. Not in the same way in my mind, anyways. So I don't know. I think like if someone were to come to me and be like, out of these movies, which one do we watch with a group? I'd say Vampire's Kiss. If someone were to ask me what my favorite movie was, I'd probably say Mandy. So I guess I'm going to say Mandy, Vampire's Kiss. And
if you were asked what was the worst film, what would you say?
Leaving Las Vegas for me.
Oh, what? Port of Call.
Leaving Las Vegas.
I like Port of Call, New Orleans. I actually like that movie. I don't know.
We don't have to rehash. We don't have to rehash this.
There's no rehashing.
We really should not rehash this.
No.
We don't need to open that scab.
The big
It's still healing.
Yeah. The big thing for me is
wound is fresh.
I don't know. It's hard to pick between Leaving Las Vegas and Port of Call, New Orleans for me because I like Port of Call, New Orleans, and I didn't really care for Leaving Las Vegas as much, but I do like things in Leaving Las Vegas, and I definitely have there are parts of that movie which I enjoy.
That's the thing. The only reason that I would ever show somebody those movies is because of some of the ridiculous things that happens with Cage. Like, if you are a Cage fan, it's just you want more and more from Cage. And there are things inside of both of those movies that you must see as a Cage fan. I'm sorry that you have to watch these films, but you have to watch these films.
If you're a fan.
If you have interest in seeing just Cage be Cage, like he's really
Full experience.
If you want the full experience, watch all his movies. Hopefully we'll get there someday. It's gonna be a real rough road.
Yeah, if I would recommend all four of these movies if you want the full experience and the movie not be a completely unwatchable disaster in every other department, because there's so many movies that he ended up doing and has done that are, I mean, he's giving the same caliber of performance, but everything else in terms of the filmmaking is just like unfucking watchable.
If you like to mystery science theater with your friends, pretty much every movie that we watched, except for Mandy's one that you just shut the fuck up, watch the film.
Yeah.
All three other films are films that you could easily do it to. And there's so many other Nicolas Cage films that man, some of them I've tried to watch by myself, and I wish I had friends to Mystery Science Theater with them.
Yeah,
because
some of
I'm
them.
like, oh, I have to turn this off now.
Yeah,
I'm done.
there are some that I just, I mean, they're unwatchable unless there are other people with you. Like you can't, you literally can't.
Why you start contemplating your life?
Yeah.
You're just like, the fuck am I doing?
It's like driving.
It's like eating breakfast at fucking 9:00 p.m.
Yeah,
You're
it's
just like
alone.
in bed.
Yeah.
You're like, what's happening?
A little drunk. Like I made a decision incorrectly at some point in my life.
It's too early and it's too late.
I had grits in bed at like 5 p.m. the other day. It was great.
It's all right.
Wow.
It's good.
But that was our Nicolas Cage series, everyone. Thank you for listening. We're gonna do.
Thank you for being a listener.
Hey everyone, we're all me and Chase are about to move away from Panama City, which is our hometown that we went to high school in, and it's a good time, and we love each other. And
Little ditty
we're
about Jack and Diane.
I am moving to Nashville, and he's moving to Atlanta, and hopefully we'll get jobs there, and we'll continue to do this podcast. Next week, we're going to try to give you one more with Zardoz, starring Sean Connery.
Spell that for the audience.
Zardoz, Zardoz.
So
Hey, don't worry, everybody. I'm staying right here. I'm going nowhere.
he's staying in the same place.
We're going to conjure him up somewhere, though. He'll go up crazy, do shit.
It won't sound like we've moved anywhere when you diddies hear us speaking again next time, but
We'll be
in
referring
different
to
places.
it.
We'll be in different places. Won't sound like it.
But we're going to try to do one more for you before we take a little break. We're going to do Zardoz. I've never seen it. You never seen it. He never seen
Never
it.
even heard of it until you
I
guys
never
mentioned
seen it, but get excited. It's Sean Connery in a little red leather Speedo with like fucking strappies all over his body, holding a little fucking like Ruger pistol. Oh, it's going to be hot to trot, baby.
I've never seen it, but I've seen the image
like a
so many
B-rated
times.
James
It's like a very
Bond.
iconic kind of like it's like a B culture iconic thing, you know? Like
I'm pretty
I don't know how
excited.
I've missed it.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
I'm very excited. So we'll see you all then. We love you.
Yeah,
We miss you already. Oh.
But fuck you.
But fuck
But
you.
fuck you.
But fuck-
fuck you.
But fuck you.
But fuck you. But fuck you.
We miss you already. But fuck you.
Fuck you and your assholes.
So long, fuckos.
Ta-ta, fuckles.
Ta-ta, fuckos.
Bye.
No,
Suckers.
yeah.
See you later, shitbird.
That's all, motherfucker.
Let's say shitbird. Ta-ta, shitbird.
Ta-ta, shitbird.
Ta-ta, you shit turd.
You dumb shit hamburgers.
You shit on my hamburgers, you shit turd.